Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another My Team Sim Career video. This is where I have created a team in My Team and I'm doing everything in the background except for actually physically driving the races. So I'm doing all the upgrades, I'm doing all the management stuff, driver signings and everything, but I'm just not racing the races, I'm simulating all that stuff. So last year, we made some progress. We scored some points. Jack Doohan, our first driver, who is us technically, was featuring in the top 10. Towards the end of the year, we also had Robert Schwartzman start to get some points. Just so you know, this is a Renault connected team. So we are, as in real life, Renault and Mitsubishi have their allegiances. So we a Renault sort of B team, I guess, Alpine B team, but we're looking to maybe take that mantle. So we just did some things in the background before the season. We upgraded our sponsor because we are starting to deliver points. We upgraded our livery, just a slight change. I just had a bit of a shade on the back there, really. That's the only real change. Tried to keep it as Mitsubishi looking as we could. And you can see in the performance graph there, where we're definitely like top of the mid pack, almost best of the rest, as far as like performance wise. So I expect that we're going to see ourselves in the points regularly. Just doing some upgrades, and this is the transfer. So last year Perez retired and Leclerc took his spot, which left a space at Ferrari. And
lasciatemi guidare perché non sono lento, lasciatemi guidare una gara bella.
That was filled by Sebastian Vettel, who is returning to Ferrari. So that's a couple of big moves. That now leaves a seat at Aston Martin, which my former teammate, or the former second driver for our team, Marino Sato, filled. So, with the retirement and everything, us getting Schwartzman, it all sort of figured itself out. Just going through and doing some pre-season stuff. I usually just try and get the one with the most boosts. Boost to the driver, boost to team acclaim and resource points, maybe some of the cash as well. And just running our way to the first race of the season. What I am finding with this sim career is it's really helpful for my actual My Team career. I'm able to sort of project what to look out for and how to manage my team, in a very speedy fashion, so that I know that, for me personally in my actual My Team where I'm racing, I can avoid some of the mistakes and I can avoid some things that that might become a problem if I wasn't aware of them. But doing it through the sim career, it really allows me to see how things pan out and what you need to take care of first and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, let's get into the season. So into Bahrain, and Max Verstappen wins the race. Jack Doohan finishes in 9th and Robert Schwartzman in 12th. So we're already looking like not a backmarker team anymore. Straight away, first race of the season. And the Red Bull looks very strong. Mercedes and McLaren are there or thereabouts, in the kind of the next tier down on the Red Bulls, and then the Ferrari seems to have dropped off. But Bahrain is also one of those races in the beginning of the season where it's not that easy to tell where everyone's at, as is most normal first races. And we move to the second one, the Saudi Arabian GP, and Charles Leclerc wins the race as Max Verstappen finishes in 2nd. Jack Doohan finishes in 8th and Robert Schwartzman finishes in 10th. So 2 points finishes for Mitsubishi in the second race of the season. And it's promising, looking good for becoming a solid midfield team already 2 races into the season. As we see there, but almost like best of the rest, like Ferrari, the big four kind of there, and then it's us. Now, the third race, I had to do this. I lost the capture somehow. Max Verstappen wins. Leclerc second, Norris in third, Jack Doohan in sixth. Another top 10 finish. Good result for him at his home race. And Schwartzman was in 13th. So Mitsubishi just hanging about there. We're not far off Ferrari, and we're 3 races into the season. Going into Imola, this is the sprint race. Charles Leclerc wins that. We'll start from pole. We had a DNF, Jack Doohan. So starting from the back of the grid. They always start from the back of the grid in these sims anyway, because you're not technically doing qualifying. But finds a way to claw his way back to 9th in the race. Robert Schwartzman in 11th. So no points for him, but a couple of points for Doohan. So again, finishing in the top 10, and especially when he started in 22nd, that's a good result for him, showing a lot of promise. The car obviously has the pace to now sort of get past a lot of other teams in the midfield. So sitting in 8th in the championship, just behind Sebastian Vettel. Robert Schwartzman is just down there still on that solitary 1 point. And in the constructors, we are okay. We're half of what Ferrari has now, so we're sort of like gapped the rest of the midfield and just sitting behind the Ferraris. We are where we are basically on the performance chart. We're sitting exactly where we are in the constructors, just behind Ferrari. Mercedes was the best team on that list there. And in Miami, Verstappen wins and Jack Doohan finishes in 10th. Another top 10 finish, and Schwartzman in 15th. There was an AlphaTauri there, I think, in the top 10, so they've picked up some pace. We dropped to 9th in the driver's standings after that result, and Schwartzman maintains his 12th position with the only person, the highest person without a 0 next to their name. 18 points for Mitsubishi, and Red Bull are sort of streaking away there at the front a little bit. In Spain, George Russell wins and Max Verstappen finishes in 2nd. Jack Doohan DNFs and Robert Schwartzman finishes in 14th position after starting in 11th. Jack Doohan stays in 9th in the Drivers' Championship, and Robert Schwartzman drops down to 13th position. I think the AlphaTauris are getting a little bit quicker. I think Lance Stroll might have scored some points in that race, so just shifting him down. And still, we're way off Ferrari now, but ahead of the AlphaTauris. In Monaco, Verstappen wins. Lewis Hamilton in 2nd. Jack Doohan finishes 8th. Robert Schwartzman in 10th. So another double points finish for Mitsubishi. And looking good, looking on the up. Don't know what to expect in Season 3. And it wasn't looking good in Seasons 1 and 2. Towards the end of Season 2, we'll get in the points. But now it's like consistently in the points. Jack Doohan maintains his 9th position in the championship. And AlphaTauri are starting to claw some of that gap back. But, we are clearly best of the rest of the rest. I think Ferrari a little bit off the pace as well. In Azerbaijan, Baku, Leclerc wins, and I think it was an 8th position for Doohan, and Robert Schwartzman finishes in 17th. Jack Doohan stays in 9th and is just behind Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Robert Schwartzman is on 2 points, and Mitsubishi is, we're in a fight with AlphaTauri, it seems, at the moment. And as we move forward now to Canada, Leclerc wins. Max Verstappen 2nd, Jack Doohan in 12th, no points in this race, and Robert Schwartzman in 16th. Seems the Red Bull has the car at the moment. It's pretty consistently in those top 4 to 5 positions every race. As we move over to the constructors, we'll have a look now, and you can see that they've already got a 158 point lead over Mercedes. So very, very strong. McLaren are right there with Mercedes though, making some big gains this season. George Russell wins in Silverstone, and 10th for Doohan. Schwartzman in 15th. And again, scoring more points. This is good consistency. And we're seeing that Verstappen is starting to break away from Leclerc. So it's a good matchup there. Leclerc, Verstappen, they're both in the same car. You should kind of see who's got the most, who can get the most out of it, because they are kind of like the two elite drivers of the championship these days. In the Austrian GP, Verstappen wins 10th. Again, seems to be a comfortable home. 9th, 10th for Doohan in the Mitsubishi. Schwartzman in 12th. So, that was the sprint race. I apologize. That was a sprint race. Leclerc wins the race. Doohan finishes in 10th. And Robert Schwartzman finishes in 17th. So, I apologize. That was the sprint race. So, maintaining pretty much status quo. And 19 points is now the lead for the Drivers' Championship, with Verstappen in front of Leclerc. And as we move over to the Constructors' title, Red Bull once again is just extending its lead ever so slightly over Mercedes and McLaren. Ferrari are a distant fourth. In France, Charles Leclerc wins again. Max Verstappen second. The two Mercedes behind them. And Jack Doohan finishes in 10th with Robert Schwartzman in 16th. So, wondering what a better driver could maybe do with that second seat. Schwartzman, wouldn't be one of the highest rated drivers there, coming from F2. So maybe one of the more experienced drivers could do more with that car. Something to think about for next season. If the results continue that way. And Red Bull are just another world at the moment. And it doesn't make a lot of sense actually, because they're the third rated team on paper as far as development goes. Alpine have actually jumped ahead of us. As you just saw, the Mercedes is still the strongest car. Mercedes still the strongest car. George Russell wins in Hungary. Jack Doohan again in 10th, and Robert Schwartzman is in 15th. Jack Doohan still in 9th, and Verstappen, his lead has been cut a little bit, only by a point to Charles Leclerc. And status quo for the Mitsubishi drivers. But it's good to see them both not sitting down, way down in like 20th position with no points at all. We go over to the Belgian GP. Max Verstappen, followed by Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris in 3rd. Jack Doohan finishes in 12th out of the points, as does Robert Schwartzman in 16th. The Haas's seem to be moving up as well in that one. And no change for Doohan in the Drivers' Championship. Still in 9th position with 29 points. 2 points still for Schwartzman. And in the Constructors, it's basically, Alpine are the ones now to worry about, because they are only 10 points behind us. And Red Bull are off into the distance. Max Verstappen wins his home GP and extends his lead in the championship. Doohan finishes in 10th. Where have I heard that before? Schwartzman finishes in 11th. And that 10th position is looking, he's looking pretty safe in that 10th position at the moment, Doohan. Mitsubishi are 5th overall, only 5 points in front of the Alpine now. And as we move to Monza, Lando Norris wins his first ever Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen finishes in 2nd. Jack Doohan finishes in 10th, and Robert Schwartzman in 19th, a lap down. Jack Doohan stays in 9th in the Drivers' Championship. Robert Schwartzman is in 14th. Oscar Piastri way down there in 21st. He was our first driver. How's that going for you, mate? And Mitsubishi finishing 5th. I say how's that going for you because he bailed on us mid-season. Singapore, George Russell wins and is followed by his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Jack Doohan finishes in 10th. And Robert Schwartzman DNFs. So the Mercedes now showing some of the pace that it's showing on the development charts. Verstappen still leads the championship by 75 points. That's 3 clear even wins over Charles Leclerc. And Doohan staying in 9th, just above Ocon and Gasly. And Red Bull, like not far away from wrapping up the championship already. 667 points. Max Verstappen wins the Japanese GP and is followed by Charles Leclerc in 2nd. That's going to be handy for them in that Constructors' Championship, and handy for him in the Drivers. Jack Doohan, where is he? 10th. He only has a 1-point lead now over Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. So they're starting to get their act together, Alpine, towards the later stages of this season. And you could see before they were above us now on the well, as you can see, they're above in the championship now, and we're above on the development chart. So on paper they have the better car. George Russell wins in the USA, followed by Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton 4th. I think it was Lando Norris in 5th. Jack Doohan DNFs, and Robert Schwartzman finishes in 15th. So Jack Doohan actually drops to 10th in the championship behind Ocon now. And Max Verstappen has a massive lead in the Drivers' Championship with only a few races to go. 3 races to go. Mexico, Sao Paulo, and Abu Dhabi. Red Bull pretty much sewn up. I think mathematically that's sewn up. And we go over to the Mexican GP, and Verstappen wins, followed by George Russell. Jack Doohan is in 10th, and Robert Schwartzman DNFs, so finishes in 21st. Lando Norris DNF'd. Doohan is in 10th and only 4 points behind Ocon. And Robert Schwartzman is in 14th. I think he's been there pretty much all season with his 2 points ahead of Kevin Magnussen with 1. We are losing touch with Alpine now. They are 14 points clear in the Constructors, and 6th is looking like almost the best we can do. And it's pretty much where we are. There's a big gap you can see between Alpine and us and the rest. There's a real flat line going on. Charles Leclerc wins a sprint race in Sao Paulo into Lagos. Jack Doohan finishes 10th, starting from 22nd in the sprint race, which is always handy. And moving over to the race, loses a position. So finishes just outside the points in 11th. Charles Leclerc wins the race. Robert Schwartzman in 17th. And I think, we are losing that development race a little bit. We started off well, but we just don't have the car, and those sort of top part of the like maybe the 5th and 6th and 7th that we were getting aren't really manageable anymore. I neglected to save the championship, Constructors' Championship standings. It's pretty foregone conclusion that Red Bull are going to win that. Max Verstappen wins the final race in Abu Dhabi and has long gone and sewn up his 4th World Drivers' Championship on the bounce, along with Red Bull, well clear of Mercedes, who are well clear of McLaren, who are well clear of Ferrari. And Max Verstappen passes Alain Prost for all-time wins in that season, now with 52, only 1 behind Sebastian Vettel. Mercedes clawing down McLaren, and Red Bull are only 1 win now behind Williams for all-time wins. Max Verstappen now becomes the 4-time world champion, along with Alain Prost and Sebastian Vettel. And in the all-time world Constructors' Championships, Red Bull have 7, equal with Williams. So that's going to be interesting how that develops over the next few more seasons. We sign Pierre Gasly for next season. We decide to upgrade to someone with a little bit more experience. Carlos Sainz goes to Aston Martin, which is an interesting move for him, going away from Ferrari. And Robert Schwartzman ends up at AlphaTauri, so basically a direct swap for Pierre Gasly. And there's another Ferrari seat available next season, and that goes to Marino Sato, our former teammate, who was at Aston Martin. So basically a direct swap with Carlos Sainz. And that is it for season 3 of this My Team sim career with Mitsubishi as our manufacturer. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to try and punch out the next few seasons over the course of the next week. I have 4th and 5th seasons completed already. I'm in the 6th season now, and hopefully bring those to you shortly. We are getting better, and we doubled the points this season. Remember to like and subscribe if you like this type of content, and I will see you guys in the next one.